Hi everyone, it's Nathara, and today I'm going to be going over the Precious Yearning Lightchase, the Rewan one. I actually have recorded this video once before, but when I went to go and edit it after an hour and a half of recording, I realized that I didn't capture any audio. I'm not sure what happened with my recording program, but it just decided not to record any audio. So I am re-recording the video right now, and that's why this is so late. I'm so sorry about that. But let's go ahead and look at the items that we can get. Most of us have already seen this Lightchase and have already seen the items in it and are fairly familiar with it through Styling Wizard, but I'm gonna go over it anyway just in case. So I do love this hair. I use it a ton, and I honestly don't use the Belated Moon dress. It is very locked into its style, I guess. You can't really expand it beyond the Chinese theme, and I hardly dress in Chinese theme, so it's unfortunate. I do like the socks though, and the shoes also very Chinese. The earrings are cute and they are doable outside. I do like the space piece, but it has some weird dye options. The rabbit is absolutely adorable. This headpiece I do not like too much. I don't like this big holographic thing that's on it, the light piece. I do like this hair piece. It has a lot of different variations that you can do. This necklace is all right. The floating back piece is really pretty, but it is limited on its dye options. The ring is barely noticeable, and then the coat is something I see a lot and I use a lot. I always love these like floating ribbon things that they do. For our 5-star set, the Invincible Dawn set, I do love this 5-star set so much. Back then we didn't get too many short hairstyles, so this was really refreshing. I love this dress and the high-low it has. The earrings, there's nothing too remarkable about them, but they are pretty. I do like the single-handed glove. The hairpiece is nice. It's got some variations to it that are good for other styles. I do love this necklace. The handheld is so small and it's hard to see most of the time how it is, but it is on fire. I wish the fire would have been at the top instead of underneath the hand, making it more visible and more like appealing to have in your hand. The shoes are cute. For our 4th star, you get a crop top, of course. They love giving us their crop tops. We do get a coat that kind of hangs off the shoulders, and it is two-toned, so that's lovely. Some socks and some jean shorts, which are better than the little booty shorts they have for us as a 3-star, you know? And some almost rain boots, but leather boots. I don't know, I like these ones. For our loose 6 stars, we get the Bunny Planet bag, the Old Memories shoulder bag, and the Tiara Icy Deal. For our loose 5 stars, we get the pink summer swimsuit. It is so adorable, but it does have some dye problems. We get the cool Soundwave dress, which is not, in my opinion, it's not worthy of a 5-star title. This definitely looks like a sign-in dress. We get a glittering wings handheld. We get some high-low earrings. Those are super cute. A little hairpiece, this little floating heart, and the floating tide necklace. And for our makeup, we get a lipstick with a little butterfly in the corner, an eyeliner, a face paint, some contacts, more contacts, and the Sparrow Dance lipstick. For our ally, we get Shawn's Rosy Intoxication, and in our Decom, we get the Moonlit Drip dress. And as lovely as this dress is, I cannot justify spending any more on this banner because, like I said, I am just not the biggest into the Chinese theme, so I don't really care to put any more money on it. And we do have another Lightchase coming up, the shoe embroidery one, and I'd rather just put my money into that one if I'm going to purchase anything. But I did go ahead and get this really cool headpiece because it's really unique, and over the time that we've been playing this, we haven't really gotten another piece like this. And I did get the falling snowflakes. I do quite like these. And for our items, you do get an avatar frame, a chat bubble if you'd like, or a photo frame. And this is the first time I did not buy the furniture piece because I just never use lights in my house, so I just didn't get it. You also could get this avatar if you'd like, and then this dynamic photo frame, and of course you can get this effect scorching chain, which is what I did end up getting, and then the Yard of Vow scene. Now this scene is really limited to just this area, which I will show you later, but that is it for everything that you can get on this Lightchase Precious Yearning. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started diving into the dye options and how the pieces are and my personal opinions on them. But first, let's go ahead and look at Shawn's card. So here's the default view of it, and here is the evolved version. And this is one of the ones where you do get a big picture, and I always love these because the animations and the effort they put into these is just gorgeous. And for evolving this card, you do get a bag called the Thorny Boat, and we will go over that too. Alright, so here's the bag. It is very reflective and very spiky. It does have 2 dye slots, the first being the bag itself, and it does have that like holographic film over top the color, so you're not going to be able to match it well unless the other pieces of your clothing also have that reflective film. And then the second slot is going to be the metal work on it, so it's not a bad bag. I've personally never used it, but like we know, I don't use handhelds. Alright, so here's the Yard of Vows scene in its entirety. Here's how far right you can go and how far left you can go, and that is as far back as you can go with your character, and this is as far back as you can go with your camera. So you can't necessarily reach your character back there. And the scene does get weird if you get too close. As you can see, what looked like water is actually just landscape that has been dropped down like on a hill, and the water comes up. So it does, I mean, maybe you can make some cool shots with it if you want to have like a murky green water look. But as you can see, the texture is odd in some places, so I wouldn't recommend going that far back. So unless you really just want to collect scenes, I wouldn't get this one. It's really simple, there's not much to it, and like I said, you can make it in your home. But of course, if you were a collector and you really do like having all the scenes, go for it. But I do believe if you're trying to choose between the scene and like one of the clothing items, I would go for the clothing item. And here's Scorching chain, and just so you know, you cannot change the color of the chains. Like, I've just put the black and white filter all the way up over this, and the chains are still vibrantly red, so you're not going to be able to filter the color out. It will always just be this red color. And let me show you this on a different scene. Perhaps it might look a little better, or it'll match the scene a little bit more. Here it is on Rosy Mist, and there's one other, there it is, Night Memory. Well, also, you cannot use the HD filter with effects, so it will disappear. So you do have to use the basic mode camera if you're on PC. That is, I don't know if mobile has an HD option, but just so you're aware. And here's Belated Moon. I do have the hair dyed right now, but everything else is its natural dye. It comes with a lot of basic soft colors, so if you are into that, you won't really need to unlock anything. Alright, and here's the entire suit in all black. So as you can see on the back floating piece, there's a lot that you cannot dye, and also the moon is flat, and a lot of the wisteria drop downs are flat. There's huge chunks of glitter inside of the ribbons, and on the face piece and in the earrings, it dyes not exactly what you would want it to, so that's unfortunate. Necklace is fully dyeable. The same thing with the bunny, and then like his little paws don't dye. That part on the belt doesn't dye fully. You will get the sheer, or not the sheer, that like opaqueness with the pearls. And you cannot see underneath here, but there's a bit on the socks and a bit on the shoes that cannot dye. But let's go ahead and go into each piece by itself. So for the hair, you do get 2 dye slots. You get the bulk of it and then the one streak that's left over. So you cannot see the second slot at all from the front. It is just the little updo part in the back. And for our dress, we do get 10 dye slots, which is wonderful. The first one being the bit of the ombre on the bottom of the dress and the backing of the belt. Then you get the underskirt, the overskirt sheerness, the extra little robe ribbon that comes with this shawl, I think. I don't know quite what to call that, but it's just the shawl. Then you get this like sheerness on the overskirt right here. Then you get the metalwork, and then you start dyeing the main part, like the coat sleeves and part of the sheerness down here. It is kind of hard because this dyes really like the grouping and how they chose to dye this. There's a lot of slots and a lot of them overlap. There's not like different sections and you can be like, oh hey, 7, 8, 9 belongs to the lower half or anything like that. It's kind of all over the place. And for me personally, it's a little hard to work with because of how oddly they chose to pair everything. I don't know, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. Like this is like all of the ombre on the entire dress. So I don't know why that is an option all by itself. I mean, you can definitely create some beautiful colors, but to me it could have been paired differently. And this right here is just the top half of the coat. It's nothing down here. And then the last slot, it's going to be hard to tell, but it's going to be the like reflective material on the shawl and on this part of the dress right here. So it's just like the metallic surface. So this dress can absolutely be colorful and be beautiful, but like I said, it is Chinese. It is very Chinese. It is hard to break out of its theme because it's that every time you see it you think Chinese and that's all there is. But don't get me wrong, it's beautiful and I love how colorful it is. For our coat, you do get 5 dye slots. So you get the main part of this lower coat right here. You get the fade right here, and then this part that comes up. This is going to be the first light stream, and this one is the second light stream. Let me see if I don't know if it's hard to see because it's so light. Green maybe? Yeah, so it is still hard to see, but in there is another light stream, and then the last one is going to be the floating bits that come around, like the little floating flowers. For our socks, we do get 5 dye slots. The first part is the leaves. The second part, I think those are like flowers. And the third slot is the vines at the top. The fourth slot is the little embroidery details inside. And then the last slot is everything else. So as you can see, these white lines do not dye, and neither does the blush on the rabbits. So for some reason, the white lines on this side dye and the white lines on this side don't. So I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, but it is odd. Let me see if I can find what it's connected to. So I do believe these are supposed to be dyeing with these up here in slot 3. Maybe it does for someone else, but for me it is bugged and these do not dye. Like look, yeah, this is definitely supposed to be dyeing, but it's not. Like there's a big blank patch right here where the dye is not reaching. For our shoes, the first dye slot is going to be the bulk of the shoe, the edging, the outer edging and part of the petals, all of the like little details in the bottom part of the shoe, and then lastly it's going to be the vines and this white pearl on the tip of the shoe. For our hat accessory, you do get 5 dye slots. You're going to get the pearls and the holographic piece all over. Then you're going to get the metalwork, the right flower, the right flower leaves, and lastly the left flower. For the hairpiece, you do get 4 dye slots, and it includes the hair sticks, these little metal pieces in the front, and the puff balls. So the first one is going to be the pearls, the second is going to be the metalwork, the third is going to be the flowers on the hair sticks, and the fourth is going to be the puff balls in the back. For your face piece, you get 3 dye slots. The first one is going to be the flowers, and remember they do not dye fully, so if you want to dye them like a specific shade, it's going to fight you a little bit. The second slot is going to be the metalwork, and the third is going to be the pearls. For our earrings, the first slot is going to be the metalwork, the second slot is going to be the pearl right there, and the third slot is going to be the extra pearls. For our necklace, you get these pearls on the first one, the metalwork and the center pearls on the second slot, and the big droopy pearls on the third. And the last slot is the rest of the pearls, and then this big moon piece in the center. For our ring, you get the metalwork. This is really hard to see. Ooh, sorry about this. The second slot is going to be just this metal gem, and then this third slot is going to be the little beads inside of the roses. For our little rabbit handheld, you're going to get the rabbit itself, his little eyebrows, and like the little center dot, and lastly the ribbon that comes on him. And for our bag piece, you do get 8 dye slots, which is really nice. Our first one is the top half of the leaves, and you can see that ombre a bit. It does give it like a fall feel whenever you dye it like that. Our second slot is the top half of the moon. Our third slot is the bottom half of the moon's ombre. The fourth slot is the branch, which also has a weird effect on it. It's gonna dye darker because it has a built-in shadow. Our fifth slot is going to be the clouds, the butterfly, part of the debris, and part of the wisteria. It's an odd combination to dye, but I don't know why they did it like that. Our sixth slot is going to be the rest of the wisteria, like the ones that hang in the background and a bit in the front. As you can see right here, there's this one piece. I actually do like it with the red vines and purple leaves or blue leaves. That's really pretty. For our seventh slot, it's going to be the falling debris. And for our eighth slot, it is going to be, I don't know if you saw that, but another layer over the moon and more in the wisteria. So it certainly is a lot of options to do, and you can create some really pretty combinations. But like I said, it does take a bit to learn and work with, but it can be really gorgeous. And here is our Invincible Dawn outfit. I've already dyed it all black, and as you can see right here, there is like the underskirt that has a built-in ombre to it that you will not be able to undye, and also this part right here you cannot dye fully black. It will always be this even when you starlight it. There's big chunky white glitter, there is green in the brooch. The hair does dye, so does the hairpiece and the necklace. But let's go ahead and get into this. So for our hair, we get two dye slots, the top half and the bottom half, and the ombre on it is beautifully done. I'm so pleased with it. For our dress, the first one is going to be the bulk of it and the underskirt. So as you can see, there's still that ombre that's built in. Our second slot is the tulle over it, the lace right here, and the little metal bat. Our third slot is going to be the metal up here and here that wraps around the back. Our fourth slot is going to be the ombre on the tulle, and our fifth slot is going to be the bottom half of the dress right there. For our shoes, we get the crystals on the back side of the shoe, the bulk of the shoe, the metalwork on the shoe, and you can dye the lace. Quite nice. I do like these shoes. I think they're very pretty. I kind of wish the bottom half of the shoe dyed though. For our hairpiece, I do have this one starlighted. I do use it a lot because these work really well as like little side barrettes. You do get 3 slots. And what's interesting about this hairpiece is that the jewels themselves have an ombre built into it. So on the first slot, you get the first part of the ombre. On the second, you get the second part. So as you can see, they're red down here, and they kind of, this one's sharper, but up here you can see the orange fading in to the yellow, and here the red, and you can kind of see it's orange and then fades into the yellow there. You can see it better whenever it's red to black, but I do quite like it. And then the third slot is going to be the metal backing. For our earrings, the first slot is going to be the center gems, the metalwork is the second, and the last of the gems is on the third. For our necklace, you get the 2 outer gem pieces. Then you get the cloth, then you get the center gem and the edging around the side pieces. And lastly, you get the metalwork. For our little glove, these pieces right here are undyeable, unfortunately, but they are not very noticeable, so I don't ever have any problems with them. The first is going to be the little metal edging on the glove itself, and the second is the entirety of the glove, so it's going to be the leather and the lace. And lastly, we do have our handheld, which has, like I said, it would be so much better if the burnt part was up here instead of down here so you could see it, because it is such a cool effect. So our first slot is going to be the top half of the letter that ombre is in the back. Our second slot is the bottom half of the ombre and the second part of the letter right here. Our third slot is going to be the center of the wax seal. This is going to be the edging on the letter right here and that part of the wax seal. And the last part is going to be the color of the flames on the letter. And again, my gripe is that I wish this was up here because it's so cool. I don't know why they put it down here where it's hardly visible. And that is it for this outfit. I do really like this one. She's stunning. That's it. And here's our 4-star suit, dyed in all black, so there is a bit on the top that can't be dyed, the jewels, the buttons, and on the socks right here can't be dyed, but the shoes are fully dyeable, so that is nice. So for our coat, you do get 4 dye slots, the right side, the left side, the glitter on the inside, and the button faces. For our top, you get the top half, the bottom half, and then the word "the bear." For our shorts, you get the belts and the button, the jeans themselves, and then the metalwork. For the socks, you get the bulk of the sock and then the face of the bear. For our boots, you get the bulk of the boot, the bottom of the boot, and then the metalwork. So it is pretty cute. I do like using this coat. It's pretty versatile. The only thing I don't like about it is this weird part right here. I mean, I get why it's there. This is supposed to be a collar, and that's supposed to be the back of the collar, but I don't know, it's not for me. Thankfully, it's on the back, and you can't ever see it, so it's nice. And here is our first loose 6-star bunny planet. It does have 4 dye slots. The first one being the beads, the second one being the bunny itself and the little puffballs, the third being the little inner ears and the blush marks, and the fourth being the ribbons and the eyes. Now, what's weird with this piece is the blush. On it, it is going to change colors depending on what color your puffball is dyed. It's kind of just like a multiply effect, I think. If you're familiar with like Photoshop terms, I feel like there's some sort of filter over it that's going to change how it looks. I actually quite like it with it dyed like this. It's kind of cute. But it's a handheld, so I don't normally use these pieces, but it is cute. But unfortunately, it is also a 6-star, so it does take a lot of resources to be able to unlock. Our other 6-star is the Old Memories shoulder bag. You do get a few different hand postures for it if you do not like it with the arm up. You can change it just a bit, not too much, but there are options for it. And there are 4 dye slots, the first being the cloth of the bag, the second being the metalwork on the bag, the third being some of the beads, and as you can see, there is like a built-in shadow into some of the beads, so they're not going to dye all the same, but they will dye at the same time. And the 4th slot is going to be everything left over. So there is a very nice ombre built into the tassels, and then it's going to be the rest of the bead. So it is fully dyeable. You do just have to work with so it is fully dyeable, but the only thing that might cause you issues if you don't like it is the fact that these beads do have built-in shadow into them, so they will always be kind of different. And our last loose 6-star is the Icy Dill Tiara. It is a very cute little piece. I do quite like it. There is only 2 dye slots, however. You get the metalwork of it and then all of the crystals. So it is fully dyeable, but again, it is very expensive to unlock. And here is our pink swimsuit. And here it is dyed in all black, so as you can see, there are these huge chunks that you cannot dye, which is really unfortunate. As a 5-star and something so small, it should be fully dyeable. But for our first dye slot, you do get the bulk of it, and then you get the crystal, and then you get the jewels in the bottom half. And here's our other 5-star dress. For our first slot, you do get the top half. For the second, it is the belt. For the third, it is the metalwork. And the fourth is the sequiny bottom. I've already complained about this, so I won't do it again. And here's the handheld glittering wings, dyed fully in black, so the holographic will stay, the center of the butterfly will stay, and the pearls on the outside will stay. But the first dye slot is going to be the bulk of the item. The second is going to be the top ombre on the butterfly. It's hard to see. The third dye slot is going to be the edging on the butterfly, and the fourth dye slot is the bottom of the ombre on the center. Number 2 and number 4 are for the butterfly, and it does ombre inside of it. So that's the first ombre and then the second ombre. You can see it better right there before the holographicness takes hold. Alright, and here's our earring Starlight gift. Our first dye slot is going to be the metalwork. Our second dye slot is going to be this little star right here and this ribbon over here. And our third dye slot is going to be the crystals and the star, and this one, and then this crystal over here. So you cannot dye these little pearls on the left side, but the right side is fully dyeable. For our hairpiece, the first dye slot is going to be the metalwork, the second is going to be these 3 pieces right here, and the third is going to be these pearls right here. So it is fully dyeable. And for the floating piece roaming elf, it does only have 1 dye slot, and because it's a light object, it is going to dye really weirdly. So just be aware of that. You're not going to be able to get it to be really what you want it to be. And our necklace floating tide is fully dyeable, and it's got 2 dye slots, the first being the crystals and the second being the metalwork behind them. And here's an up-close version of the Frozen Blizzard contacts and the Melting Eyes contacts. So these ones actually do move around. They're very pretty. I quite like these ones. And here's the Palace Night facial paint. And here's the Misty Scent eyeliner. I do love this eyeliner a lot, and I wish they would give us more white eyeliners. And here's the Sparrow Dance lipstick dye options right here. You get Red Tail, Forest Wood, Dyed Red, and Flame Glow. And here's the first slot dyed up and all the way down. Second slot down and all the way up. Third slot up and all the way down. Fourth slot down and all the way up. And here's the dye options for Wing Blossom. These ones don't have names, they're just PL, whatever. But here's the first slot up, all the way down, second slot down, all the way up, third slot up, and all the way down, fourth slot down, and all the way up. Here's our Decom piece, Winter Dream. So it does only have 1 dye slot, but it's not holographic like most items are. So you can actually dye these black or red, yellow, and it does dye the footing down here, the little sparkle down here, but it does not dye the white sparkle. So you still have some white sparkles, but most of the time it will be whatever color you dyed it. And here is our Heartbeat Call Decom piece. It is not fully dyeable. You do have decals on the side and then the pink on the back, but the first dye slot is going to be the outer part of the ear muffs, the inner part of the ear muffs, a bit of the cushion on the head, and then the mouthpiece, the metalwork, and lastly it's going to be like the little decals that are left over on the ear muffs. I do really like this piece. I have it fully unlocked. I do use it a lot. It's really cute. But that is everything for the Precious Yearning Decom. So I hope you found this helpful and useful. And again, I'm so sorry that it was so late. Hopefully my audio never does that again. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.